All right, we've got the new Stryker 955 HPC pluses. This is the version 2 plus with the boost board on the inside. I done some testing with Stryker back probably 8 months ago, or could be even a little longer than that, with these boards before they shortened down the chassis and all, and they work fine. You know, they work great for what they are. What I'm going to test here is there's a lot of videos out there showing like just the stock output and stuff of these radios, but nothing really showing you know, a ton of watts and stuff, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people's curious of what they're capable of, so I went ahead and tuned one, you know, all the way out to see what they can come to. So this is a stock one here on the bottom, so we'll have like a reference with my meters to what they show stock, as opposed to what it would show, you know, modified, you know, once I go through them and do my stuff to them. And also I'll try to make a recording of both of them as well, you know, of the stock Stryker and also the modified Stryker, so you can get a difference in what the audio is for what a stock one sounds like out of the box, which is, you know, the big thing a lot of people trying to push nowadays is just leaving them stock, versus what one modified by me sounds like. So I'll try to do that too. What I may do is I may like record the stock one and then pause the video and then go straight to the recording on the modified one, because if there's a gap in between, it's really hard to compare differences and changes and stuff. So I may do that for just that portion of the video. But anyway, we'll go ahead and show the output of this stock Stryker here, and we'll let y'all see what it is producing and all that good stuff. So this is the stock one on the bottom. Modified one's got the blue tape on it. Not that that much matters. We just do that kind of protect the bezel on them. All right, so we'll check out the dosi over here, and we'll just throw a carrier. We're keying up about 26 watts or so, probably closer to 25. So we'll modulate it, and we're swinging to about 68 watts peak. We'll look at it up here on the bird. 100 watt slug here. It is keying, what was that, 24 watts or so. And then we'll modulate it, and it is modulating to about 30 bird. So there's a little bit of forward swing on average. Sorry, I'm trying to get them both in the same frame. I'm going to show PEP. A lot of times when you got like a real strong AMC engage, like on a stock radio here, you know, you can't really see it, but there's actually some imperfections in the sun. Sorry, I don't have my trigger set right, but you can see little sharp edges. This is, like I said, that's from like straight from the factory. But and then let's see, peak power. I'll flip on the peak for the 250 watt slug here, and you'll see on a bird, like it doesn't care, you know, how much AMC limitations there. It loses a little, like it'll flow right on through. But anyway, it's just shy of 100 watts, so maybe 95 watts or something there would be a good idea for the output that's there. So anyway, we got a good idea of how everything's doing. 68 watts. So now I don't know if I want to pause it or just swap. Maybe I'll just swap without pausing it. Sorry, it's gonna be hard to do with one hand without sliding stuff around. I guess D-Wind's gonna help me out there. Same voltage on both of these things too. I'm not doing no different voltage. This one just displays voltage because I changed that so people can see it. All right, so I'm just going to leave the mic gain set at 1 o'clock. I can run it wide open, but it's not like it make much of a difference on the output anyway, and that's what I'm going to be running the gain at anyhow. And I could also show the difference in the gain wide open and 1 when I go to do the audio test maybe as well. All right, so anyway, this is the modified Stryker 955 HPC Plus, the version 2 Plus, and this one has power upgrades and everything. This is pretty much as I can get out of it safely, you know, with it still surviving. I'm not using a Ranger final, no RT1s, no Z24Ns, no RT3s. I'm not using the final that's going to grenade and blow up. You know, I'm using transistors that can survive and will survive. So let me go ahead and check out the output on my dosi here for a comparison. We're on a 200 watt scale. We'll modulate it, and we're doing a little beyond 150 watts peak here. The average is here. We'll go ahead and just throw our short, I didn't even show our carrier on the dosi, but about 24, 25 watts. carrier up here on the bird, about 24 watts or so. I'll modulate, and we're swinging to almost 70 average on 100 watt slug. Check out the 250 watt scale, and we are modulating to, I don't even know exactly what that is, 210 watts peak or so it looks like. LP100A is showing about 204 watts. Again, we'll look at average up here. It's almost 70. Peak on the bird. Again, that thing 200 and I guess 10 or 215. And like I said, above 150 here. So making some really nice numbers. Like I said, this is pretty heavily modified. It's doing what it's capable of doing. That's as much as they can produce. And this actually still doesn't really get incredibly hot or anything. So that's something the version 2 does. They do two things well as opposed to the version 1. They, even if it does have a voltage dip here, they don't really lose a lot. Yeah, I'll give you an example. So let's look at 150 watts on the Dosi right here. Let's look at my gigantic power cord that's just ridiculously sized, like a 4-gauge wire. Let me take this crappy little turd of a power wire right here, just like a little stock cord, and I'm going to unplug the big hefty wire here. We'll plug in this stock cord. Sorry, I'm over here one-handed. Plug in the stock cord here. If I can reach it, you'll have to scoot them back. Alright, got it plugged in on the face. Remember, all the output we was producing shows 14.7, same voltage, everything. I'm going to let this thing dip all the way down to 13.2, right? So 1.5 volt drop. Well, look at the output. So 150 watt is still producing 150 watts. It's still producing over 200 watts. It's still producing almost 70 bird. So it really didn't drop. The drop is negligible. So the importance of the power upgrade, or not power upgrade, the changing the plugs on these things and going the big wire and stuff, not near as critical on the version 2. When I made those videos, it was about the version 1 because the version 1 is very critical for that. The other difference in the two chassis, something else there was, I know the voltage drop's not as big of a deal on these, and there was something else I had on my brain, but I lost it and I apologize. As far as hi-fi is concerned though, version 2 doesn't have anything on version 1. Version 1 will beat the brakes off of it for receive, for transmit, for all of it, for quality of sound. These is definitely not like my cup of tea for what I would choose in a radio. Unless somebody's just looking for like a good tuned up radio with a lot of power, then this is not a bad choice. But if they're looking for hi-fi stuff, hi-fi chassis would be a lot better with a version 1 Stryker 955 if you can find it, or a Stryker 447, or an original Anytone Quad 6. Those type of chassis are a lot better. And then even better than these, a Ranger chassis or even some of the old school stuff can still come out better as far as hi-fi specifically is concerned for fidelity of the audio. But as far as a good tune-up, good working radio, these are phenomenal. Especially with some power upgrades, getting that much output out of just this small of a chassis of a radio is pretty cool stuff. Again, I'm still on this little small cord, plugged in here. I'll modulate it just one more time so we see all those power differences, and everything is doing good. So over 200 watts. All right, so anyway, moving on. I'm going to go to the audio and we'll kind of compare the difference in sound, and I'm going to try to figure out how I want to do this. So let me just go back to the other chassis, and I'll keep the video rolling, but I may pause it when I go to do the audio just so I can do this better. Let me take off the peak scale here. Plug the microphone in. Should be plugging in my headphones. I could have saved some time on my part here too. Hold this for just a second there, Darren, please. Sorry, this video is going to be kind of rough, but I want to at least get a difference on what a stock one is versus one modified, because there's plenty of videos explaining the options and stuff on the radio. I want to show something a little different. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug into my line level cord, and we will compare and see what this thing sounds like. Like I said, this is stock, out of the box, nothing done. I haven't modified any adjustments, no carrier adjustments, no modulation, nothing. Mic gain's wide open. I just set the echo If you'll see, the echo is pretty comparable to what the other echo is set to. They both come out to a similar spot after mods and before. All right, so I'm going to plug in the line level and we'll check it out, see what it sounds like.
Alright, so I've got just a microphone plugged into the face. If you listen, it's real like harsh sounding, and it's like hollowy and stuff. That's just kind of the stock sound of these things. Like I said, I haven't modified or changed or done anything to it. I just got the mic plugged in, and it's it's to pick up a lot of background and stuff too. It's a static 636, but mic gain's wide open. So let me be fair. I'm going to take him back down the mic gain to where the other one is. Put it about 1 o'clock, and you'll see that kind of cleans up a little bit. Still a little harsh, but definitely better than the distortion from before. All right, so there's the stock one, and I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I'm going to pause this recording right here. Hello 1-2, stock Stryker 955 here. Hello 1-2 on the stock radio. All right, so now I just swapped over to the modified Stryker 955. Like I said, it still doesn't have a ton of fidelity. It's not like the 447s that I modify, those being my favorite. But you'll get a good idea for the sound. I run the mic gain at about 1 o'clock or so. And I'm just letting you hear it. You can see the scales pegging out, so obviously it's producing a lot of watts. But mainly I just wanted to hear the difference, and I've done a back-to-back recording of the radio I modified, which is here, versus the stock. I can crank the mic gain up there and just crank it all the way up just to be fair, and we'll see what it sounds like. Go ahead and wide open. So it's wide open here. You'll just hear it gets a little bit like harsh and maybe over the top. And then you can go back to about 1:30 or so, and you can see it just kind of smooths it out. Have a 1-2, there you go. There's the test between the two. Appreciate y'all watching.
Appreciate y'all watching and checking them out. Stock 955 here, modified 955 here. And y'all take care, have a good one.